on Radio 1990. Not 99, 1990. Don't.
Hi, I'm Lisa Robinson on Radio 1990, and I'd like to welcome my very special guest, Freddie Mercury.
Why haven't you done any interviews in the past few years?
Because I hate them.
Why?
I just hate them. I hate talking to people I don't really know. It's the media, basically, built me up being a real ogre and a tyrant on stage, because the way I come across on stage, you know, I'm very volatile, and that's the only part they see of me. I mean, if I don't talk to everybody, so they don't really know the real me, and I don't think anybody will. And
how does it show itself? Yes,
I mean, I have tantrums. I mean, you know, if something's not going right, I throw things. I mean, I could destroy a room in about 3 seconds. I used to be able to, but I mean, I don't do that anymore.
You say destroy a room, you mean like on tour, that kind of trashing of a hotel room?
Or hotel room.
Like
sometimes it was even in my own apartment, and then it got a bit expensive, and all those lalique vases being thrown at.
You didn't break a lalique vase, did you really?
Several.
Oh, those are thousands of dollars. Are you very, very rich?
Oh, I'm extremely rich.
Do you like being rich?
Of course.
What do you do with your money?
I flaunt it.
What do you do with your money?
I spend it.
You said the rest of the guys have houses in L.A. I assume you mean the other members of Queen.
Yeah, who do you think I meant?
What are their names again? No, it's all right.
Stop that shit.
Brian, May.
It's Brian, Roger,
and John, yes.
I sometimes forget them too.
But you don't really hang out with them or anything, do you?
You know, if I like them, I'll socialize with them now and again. You know, it depends. But I mean, as a rule, I don't. They have very different characters, and they like different things. You know, I like to go to ballet and opera and things. They don't like all that. They just keep going to rock and roll shows.
Why do you think you've managed to stay together working with them at this job in this business for all these many years? Now what? It was formed in 1971.
Why do you think we've lasted this long? Money, darling.
No, I mean, is that why you've lasted this long, or that's why you've stayed together for this long?
No, I think we kind of, underneath it all, we kind of like each other, and we like the music we make. That's basically it. I mean, if we didn't like the music that we were making, we'd say goodbye to each other, because I mean, no, there's nothing else left. Though the music is still there, basically, that's basically it.
When you first came together, were you very different then?
How do you mean? Oh, well, yes, we were very
You were very
hungry.
diverse personalities then.
Yes,
as well.
But at that time we were sort of getting to know each other, and we had so much to sort of put across, and we were very hungry for a hamburger.
Anything, right?
Yes, we were just hungry. We just wanted to let it all out, and so you know, we took it from there. And the thing about it is, the four of us sort of write very different songs, and so it's kind of it keeps us going. I mean, if everybody wrote the same kind of thing, and we all appeal to the same kind of people and everything, then it would be a bit boring. I mean, we just have four totally diverse personalities and different egos, and then that runs riot, and that's good. So we still fight, and we still fight like kids. Every time I'm in the same room with Brian, there's, you know, within 5 minutes we sort of
sparks flying.
I haven't hit him yet, but there's still time.
I'm just thinking, is that a possibility, really?
Well, I bet you'd like to be there. No, he writes, I mean, especially now, I mean, we've total extremes. I mean, he's still into the heavy metal type stuff, which is fine, you know. I've just sort of moved away from it. I'm more into the black kind of thing. I like, you know, more the disco, I like to try different things every time. And, you know, in the early days we came through the heavy metal thing, and even after about the second album I started writing different kind of things. I mean, a heavy metal band doesn't have to just stick to heavy, you know, big heavy merchant chords and things all the time. I mean, you can write. I mean, I'd like to think that I'm a songwriter.
You've always been very sort of flamboyant and theatrical and concerned with visuals and stuff with your shows.
I'm getting a bit sober in my old age.
Are you?
I think so, yeah.
What do you mean, just in terms of the way you dress?
No, dress has got nothing to do with it. No, in terms of my thinking, no, on stage I still dance around. You know. It's just my thinking, you know. I've become, it's like, I mean, I just can't, I look back at myself and think, oh my God, how could I have done that? You know, wearing black nail varnish and the long hair and wearing the makeup and wearing the kind of clothes. But I mean, everybody grows out of it, you know. I mean, that was when I was about 22 years old. I'm now 37. Still looking wonderful.
I was just going to say, this looks very good.
And I have not had a facelift.
You have not had a temporal.
I have not.
You also, I remember, you used to be a fan of Liza Minnelli's, and very kind of real show-busy stuff that, as you said, doesn't really have much to do with rock and roll. I mean, going to the opera and going to the ballet and all that.
Yeah, but I mean, I use it in my shows. That's the way. I mean, it's like I think Queen are a theatrical band. You know, I mean, we don't like just going on stage and just strumming our guitars. I mean, we put on a show. So I mean, that's the kind of person I am. It's just I'm a trooper, honey.
So you don't feel limited by rock and roll, by that whole genre at all?
No, I don't think so.
You don't want to go to a Broadway show or do
want to do a Broadway show?
Yeah.
No. I think
One,
rock and roll has a very wide spectrum, and you can do anything you want in it. Look at Boy George. I mean, you know, it's as theatrical as you can get.
The songs that you've written, and particularly many of the hits, they've been such a different variety of styles, and your voice also is so different. You know, on Crazy Little Thing Called Love is such a different... Is that kind of music that you always liked? That particular kind of rockabilly, Elvis sort of thing?
Oh yes, I like that too. I mean, I like all kinds.
Surprised? Do you like do people?
Do I like to surprise them?
Yeah.
I guess that is this element of truth in that. I just like to do different things. I like to. It's like I don't like to stay in one position for too long, and so that comes out in everything. It comes out in my songs and my lyrics, and I just like to try everything once. And I'm not scared of the pitfalls and things. I'm not worried about saying, "My God, this is not my scene," and if it's going to be. I mean, in fact, I love the challenge. I sort of, you know, I love the challenge, and I like doing things that are not part of the mainstream for me. And sometimes, if that works, it works in a very big way. Otherwise, it can be a very big flop. But I'm willing to take that risk. And that's why on something like Hot Space, we went off on a limb. And I said, let's just do some of this black stuff that I liked. And I sort of forced the other three to do it. You know, they hate me for it now because it didn't sell that much. I hate this thing about people thinking, oh, well, we've heard a Queen album. Let's go and see this, their stage show and see if it sounds the same. I mean, I think by now, people who come to see our shows know that it's not going to be exactly the same. We don't want it to be. How boring if we reproduce note for note what was on the album. They might as well sit at home and listen to the album with a few visuals thrown in. I mean, I'd like them to come and see that it's a show, it's entertainment, and our songs take on a different meaning when we do a stage show. So, I mean, what they hear on record can be totally different to what they hear on stage. I mean, we deliberately do that, and we like that because some of the songs have that depth. I think that where we can do it on an album, and when we do it in a show, we can totally twist it around, and we do what is best for the show. A song like "Love of My Life," which is a song from Night at the Opera. I mean, it's very classical and it's got lots of musical instruments on the album, and when we do it on stage, it's just me and Brian. I mean, Brian just plays an acoustic guitar, and I just sing it, and it's a very good song for rapport. I mean, I like to get the audience participating with me, and most of the time I let them sing the song because they're into that. So I mean, I basically conduct that song, and I love the fact that they just sing it. So it's totally different from what they hear on an album.
Are there places in the world that you want to go to that you haven't been?
Yes, I like to go to Russia. I like to go to Russia and China. That sort of.
Think they'll let you in?
I don't. Well, at the moment I don't think so. Russia already turned us down because they think we're too volatile.
Why? And Elton
they think
is no problem, right?
No, well, he's sort of
one
he's
person
all right. He's in the middle, in the kind of middle of the road. He's okay. I think when they show when the Russians saw our videos and the way we come across, they thought we were a bit too volatile, and they thought we were going to corrupt their youth.
Incite them. Yes, right. And probably you would.
Well, that's my job.
What happened with David Bowie, with Pressure?
Nothing. We just went into the studio, did the song, and out it came. It was no big...
No, but I mean, wasn't there this whole drama about him taking his name off of it or wanting to not be...
No, that was something else. He did sort of like backing vocals on one of my songs that was on the album then. That's not Under Pressure, that's another one.
Right.
And when it came to being released, I mean, he didn't like what he did. And I was like, you know, asshole tells me right at the tail end when the thing is just about to come out. So anyway, that's you know, artistic license. He just didn't like his voice right when it was about to come out. And I said, fine. I said, it's quite easy. All I do is erase his vocal, and out it came. It wasn't like he didn't do a very in-depth vocal at all. It was just a background. It was just background vocals. So, I mean, he just didn't.
Do you think it was petty? I mean, do you think it was unnecessary?
Whatever. I think it was unnecessary, but I mean...
Are you not speaking to each other anymore?
Always speaking. It's just that we're in different parts of the world, and... No, I'm not one of those bitchy queens that you like to... No. It's just... No, he's all right. He's okay.
How did you happen to work with him in the first place?
Well, I mean, we were friends from a long time back, and And we were in Montreux in Switzerland. We own a studio there, so we were working on it, and he lives there. He just happened to be there, and he kept coming to the studio, listening to our tracks, and we were jamming to some of his old songs and things. And then one day we were having, one night we were having dinner, and after that we were going back into the studio to carry on with the session, and it just happened. He just said, "Oh, why don't we just fool around and get something started and see what happens?" And, you know, we started playing on the piano, and the rest of the band were there, and we started putting something down, and Under Pressure started to build.
To get together with Michael Jackson and work with him?
Well, just in the early days, well, I mean, like 3-4 years ago, I mean, he used to just come and see our shows at the Forum in LA, and I guess he liked us, and so I got to meet him, and he kept coming to see us, and then we started talking, and in those days, I think he would actually go out. He'd go out and have dinner or something. I remember going to dinner with him, and I think now he just stays at home and doesn't like coming out at all. That's what, you know, that's what he says. I mean, he says, oh, whatever he wants, he can get at home, because I mean, anything he wants, he just buys it.
But have you ever talked to him about, I mean, just in terms of being an artist or in terms of a song?
Well, I mean,
like, to stay in the house like that kind of isolation, that's so scary.
I know, that's not me.
It?
That's not me. But I mean, you know, that's his bag, and I wouldn't do that. I mean, I'll be bored to death. I mean, I have to go out every night. I mean, I hate staying in one room for too long anyway. I just like to keep moving. It's just an individual approach, you know. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's just because he started when he was very young. So I mean, when you think about it, when I'm talking to him, I think, my God, he's 25, I'm 37. Yet he's been in the business almost longer than I have, because he started that young. And for me, it's sort of quite frightening when I'm talking to somebody who's 25 and you think somebody who was 22 or 25 has just been starting out or whatever, and I could sort of teach him a few tricks, but not Michael. I think one of the tracks would have been on the Thriller album if I'd finished it, but I missed out. No, nobody knows that. If there was a book of rules, everybody would buy it, and then everybody would be churning out the same old trash.
Do you think people steal from each other in rock and roll a lot?
All the time.
Do you?
All the time, yeah. But there's stealing, and there's robbing, and there's sort of acts of murdering. So, I mean, it just depends. I mean, everybody steals. And sometimes you steal without even thinking it, you know. That can be good. I mean, it's just... I mean, I don't sit down and listen to everybody and say, okay, I'm going to snatch that phrase or whatever. I mean, I can get influence. Like Aretha Franklin's like phrasing is just wonderful. I wish I could sing like her. You know, her phrasing is just so beautiful. I mean, it's so effortless, and it's just... She just sings like a dream. It's just like she doesn't have to think about it. I mean, when I have to sing, I think about it. I think, okay, I have to sort of, and I sort of practice a few phrases and then do it. Whereas I can tell by just listening to Aretha Franklin's records that, I mean, she just goes in there and just, it's effortless. Having said that, I'm sure she'd call me up and say, wait a minute, I go in there and do, no, but it just sounds so effortless, and it's all sort of spontaneous phrasing and things, which is what I love, and I sometimes try to do that on it's like a song called Somebody to Love. I mean, that was the gospel element, and when Aretha was doing all the gospel stuff, I just loved that, you know, the big, humongous choir behind her, all sort of like tidal waves behind her, singing, you know. That's what I liked, and that's one element of Queen, because I mean the multi-tracking harmonies and all that, you know, there's various ways of doing harmonies, and the gospel side of harmonies is just stupendous.
How long did it take you to get to the point where you could manage your own business affairs? I mean, you have gone through a few managerial changes and problems.
Yes, well, that's how long it takes. I mean, I don't think anybody can manage straight away unless they're very lucky, and unless they know. You've got to know the business, and the only way you get to know the business is to make mistakes and have pitfalls, and I think every major successful artist has gone through that. I refuse to believe that somebody's just had no problems at all and just managed to do it like that. I think that's all part of a history, all part of a band's history. They have to go through all that. You know, people get, you know, there are a lot of sharks around, and you get done in, you know, people rob you blind, money, but that's all part of it. And then you learn by your mistakes, and then you know which people not to employ, and where you think, okay, you just have to take control of this situation yourself. And that's what we did. I mean, after a while, I mean, the managers were good, they were bad, they were good, or whatever. It just happened, there came a point in time where we thought, we can do this ourselves. Okay, it's a bit more work, but I mean, we've gained the experience, and we can do it ourselves. Besides, we make more money anyway. You don't have to give a percentage to your manager.
Is there one person in the group? Do you do more of it than anybody else?
No, I think we all do. We all, as far as that side is concerned, we all partake in that individually, it's like 25%, to be honest, all four of us. Because we all do different things. Like John's very, very good at the actual business sense, the actual sort of money side of it, the marketing and everything. So we leave that to him, and they'll leave me to just the wardrobe, I guess.
The wardrobe.
They'll leave me to the wardrobe and writing the hits.
Now, what happens when one of them writes a song that...
If I don't like it...
Do you like the lyrics? Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You know, I'm not going to sit there and say, yes, the song's good if it's not good.
They come and tell you that
Of
as well.
course they do. I tell them to fuck off.